You tell me, what is so tough about not shooting people in the back? What is so tough about not choking people to death? I mean, Eric Garner starts saying, I can't breathe. Okay, well, the first time you could be like, well, maybe he's fronting. The second time, why do you keep choking him? What would be the damage of letting up that pressure on his windpipe? You know, what's so hard about not beating people to death, especially not beating people to death who surrendered? And what's so hard about not shooting people when they have raised their hands? So don't give me this stuff about a tough and dangerous job. And there's some other things we could talk about in the discussion period. But look, let me take this. I'm not going to do the reverend thing of I'm going to be closing in a minute. When you're up against the genocide, and that is what we're dealing with, you do not ask the people presiding over that genocide to smooth the rough edges on it or ease its intensity. You stand up, you gather other people, and you say, this has to stop. Now, when we go out to do this, we run into some things. I want to talk about a few of them. One of them is that people who front for this system say, well, what are your demands? They tell us you can't just say, stop killing us. You have to have some reasonable demands. See, now it tells you something about this system that people who front for it think it is unreasonable to say that the police should not be murdering people. Now think about that. Think about them feeling that's unreasonable. But okay, you want some demands? I'll give you some demands. How about indict, convict, and send the killer cops to jail? That's a very concrete and practical demand because we know who the murderers are in all of these cases. We can go to them, let's put them on trial. Let's move on that. And I'm not just talking about the ones who might get caught next week on video killing somebody, because there have been thousands of people murdered by police, and there is no statute of limitations on murder. So I'm not raising something unreasonable or unlawful. How about dismantling the whole new Jim Crow of mass incarceration and the genocidal program that it concentrates? And then we do have our overarching demand, which is very concrete and very reasonable, and that is stop unleashing your cops to kill our people. These are reasonable demands, unless you're presiding over a system that needs official murder, terror, and massive unjust imprisonment. These are demands that people need to stand up around and throw down over and fight for as part of ending these horrors. And Rise Up October, the big national march in New York City on October 24th, is aimed at making a big leap in the fight to do this. Organizations, student organizations, faculty groups on this campus could be sponsoring delegations to go to New York City on the 24th. They could adopt and sponsor a family to go to New York City for Rise Up October, because we have a project to bring 100 families to New York City for Rise Up October, because we want to put a human face on this problem. We're going to read the names of those killed by the police on Thursday morning, October 22nd. We're going to have family members doing that. We're working to get prominent voices of conscience to be there with them, clergy and others. You all can adopt a family, adopt several families, and be part of sending them there to make sure that they're there, putting a human face on this problem and showing how widespread it is. These are the kinds of things that people can do. And I'm sure the organizers here can bring forward other things. When thousands upon thousands of people from Atlanta and Chicago, from Detroit and Cleveland, from New Orleans and Mississippi, and yes, from California and Washington State and many other places, descend upon New York City, joining thousands upon thousands of people from the greater New York area, it will send a message to millions around the country and many millions more around the world. Stop police terror. Which side are you on? Millions of people are going to have to choose sides, and many of them will decide that they have to be on the side of those of us acting to stop it. We will change history. We will inspire thousands, and yes, millions of people who are tired of being treated like criminals and tired of seeing their neighborhoods patrolled by cops acting like occupying armies. They'll see that they don't have to take this, that it isn't their fault, that they can stand up and join the fight against it. Will rally to their side thousands of people from other sections of society who refuse to stand aside while other people have this horror inflicted upon them because of the color of their skin. Will open the eyes of many more people to this problem and challenge them to get off the sidelines. Which side are you on? That's a message that has to go out very powerfully. And let me be real. If people like you don't throw in and be a part of this, it ain't going to happen. And it has to happen.
I'm here today because I'm a strong believer that I am my brother's keeper, and I am also my sister's keeper. And I will continue to fight the system that took my youngest brother, took his life. October 7th, 2014, it was actually October 8th when I got the call. I got to use the restroom, and I got the call from my mother saying, she's Jamaican, we're Jamaican. We came here in 92. And in her accent, she was like, Cadine, police kill O'Shane. Police kill O'Shane. I'm like, what? Police kill O'Shane? Couldn't believe it. Still can't believe it. It's almost a year. Next Monday will be a year since they killed him. And to lose a brother, I'm telling you, we grew up together. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. But I can just imagine my mother that brought him, that birthed him, they carry him for so long, you know, what she's going through, just to see the pain that she goes through. It's not a good feeling. And no mother should ever have to bear this feeling. He wasn't sick. He was healthy, you know. You say he had a gun. Where did this gun come from? Where did this gun come from? His friends are saying he was sitting in his mother's car. You shot him in his head. You shot him in his heart. You shot him to kill him. You killed him. You took his life. You know, and it continues. But the system that back these cops, you know, it's ridiculous. And it's not too much shocking to me because we've sat back and watched them years and years do this to other people in other countries. We've sat back. We've been comfortable. We have sat back on our love seat and we just watched them bomb innocent kids, shoot people down on the border, kill people for no reason. Innocent lives. How much longer will we sit back and watch them do this to us? Now they're here in America, and we're still not standing up to them. We're still not saying enough is enough. I know I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I refuse to live my life this way. I refuse my kids to live their life this way. We shouldn't have to live our life this way. And they only do what we allowed them to do. So I'm here today to tell you why Rise of October is so important to us. We should stand up against the system. Tell them that we will not take it no more. And whoever is in power have to go. They have to go. It's time to burn the system down. We need to rebuild this system. There's too many mothers running around here crying, losing their child. But like I said, it's not only here. It's a worldwide thing that we have to fight against. And we cannot sit back and let the system keep taking our babies. I know I won't sit back. And I'm going to keep on fighting. And I'm going to go out dying until they change the system. Until it's completely just burnt down. It's just out of here and rebuilt. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop fighting. Because like I said, I am my brother's keeper. And I am also my sister's keeper. And I'm going to keep on fighting. You know, it's not, I'm telling you, he's the baby of 5. And it's not a good, I can't even look at my brother's picture. Because I will never see him again. We just celebrated our birthday. His birthday is July 20th. Mine is July 15th. We just celebrated my birthday at my home. I have pictures of him sitting in the kitchen, sitting on the couch, eating, you know. And October, you killed him. And then you didn't even call his mother. You had a corner call her. Don't even know if she have a bad heart or anything. Just call her and say, "Oh, San Francisco police took your child's life." Like it was nothing. And we're just supposed to sit back and take it like this? No. I'm not going down without a fight.
I'll start by saying, it's been difficult over the 5 long years. Been 2 months ago, my son was killed 5 years ago, so it's been kind of hard to stand with families and keep telling the story because I mean, it keeps happening over and over again. And it's like it's no changes are taking place. Um, in 2010, July 22nd, my son was assassinated, not killed. He was assassinated in a garage. They used what they called a pit maneuver to push my son out of control, the car out of control. And once he gained control of it, another officer came out of nowhere and hit him. And he went into a house to two garages. Actually, he took two metal mailboxes with him on the way into the house. The car ran into the house and it laid there on top of these two mailboxes. They say that officers got out, three officers, Eric Arzavan and Gregory Dunn, those are Stockton Police, and John Nesbitt of the San Joaquin Sheriff. These three officers got out their vehicles and actually opened up their car doors and took aim and shot 48 rounds into the van. They said that he backed up on them. Witnesses said that he didn't have a chance to back up. The first shot was to the back of his head, and we still don't know why they shot him like that. Since then, we haven't received no police report, the dash cam video. We barely got his property back. Blood all over the phone and all over his belt and things like that. The initial report was that it was 4 people in ski masks. 3 of them ran and one of them jumped in the van. And the van supposedly fit the description of the van my son was driving. My wife was in bed. I was out of town at the time, and they called her. They said, "Hey, your son's been pulled over by the police. I think you need to come and see what's going on." So my wife was figuring, well, she has my wife is the mother of 14 kids. And she said that, well, okay, well, she said to the lady, well, he'll get his ticket and then I'll hear about it later. I'll talk to my son or my daughter because she didn't know which one of her kids that had got pulled over. So she said, I'll talk to him later about the ticket, and I'll talk to him later. She called back because my wife hung up from her. She kind of like dozed back off again. She said, hey, Dion, you need to get up because now I think they're chasing your son. So my wife got up real quick, and she ran towards where the lady was telling her the car was being chased. And as she got down by the area, it was after 4th of July, so it was 22nd, so people still have firecrackers around that time. So she was hearing all these gunshots, which she thought were firecrackers, and let alone she didn't know that it was our son being shot and killed like that. So I say to say that we've been standing with many of families during the time of even after my son was killed, and we still have been standing with families, and more families have been killed. We've been standing with them too as well. So what we try to do is we try to get out and share our story with people and let people know that you don't have to let it happen to you before you stand up and figure out what side you're going to be on. Carl Dix made a good determination about the sideline and on the field. I call it's like a game. To me, it's like a game. You know what I mean? You're either in the game or you're on the sideline. If you see that your teammates are winning or losing, hey, go talk to the coaches. Hey, man, can you put me in? Tell me what to do. Look at us as being coaches. If you don't know what to do, get at some of these people that's been in some of the movements, some of these families that's been experiencing all this pain all this time. Get with them, and they'll tell you exactly what to do, exactly who to go to, who to get in contact. What can I do? I hear a lot of people say, "What can I do? What can I do?" It's a whole lot you can do. Just stand on the sideline and wait for things to change, like Carl said. It's not going to happen. And prime example, with my son being killed, it'll continue if we don't stand up. Straight up. I do this, it motivates me to see that people are still concerned about, us keep pushing forward. They say, hey man, keep doing what you're doing. And I'm letting them like, you know, I'm letting them know I can't do this by myself. I need you guys. We just can't do this by ourselves. Like Carl says, we have to come in numbers. And I plan to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in New York. I will be there the whole 3 days. And I ask you to be there too. I mean, you know, take time out because it's people's lives that need to be saved, and people losing their lives every day. And if we can have more people to unite and come together, more families, we can make changes, man.